in business, when you are venturing, particularly the small and medium enterprises, I should say, they should always be more focused towards their short-term goals rather than their long-term goals. Been operating this business since 2007, so it's been 15th year going on. And I started it as I'm MPhil English literature, so I was by that time lecturer in the College of Indore, and I was supporting DABB University in their examination also as the examiner and the paper setter, like that. So parallelly, I just saw that there in the central India region, there were students who wanted to study abroad, but they used to go to Delhi or Mumbai or some other metro cities to get their work done. Because there were no provision in the central India, particularly the MP-CG region, where the students can go to the reliable consultant and who can support them for all their admission and visa and tutorial and all those activities. So I thought I'll start with the IELTS tutorial, as I was myself the trainer, British Council certified trainer for IELTS. So I started that in 2007 as the IELTS tutorial. I used to visit to all the big cities and the industry tycoon, so that at least I can learn from their journey, I can understand their business practices. So I used to visit a lot of people, means like those who were the industry experts, the big companies of India. So I used to visit to them and I learned a lot of traits from them. They motivated me that yes, being the educationist, you can do this thing very confidently because you are a teacher. So if I'm a teacher, definitely that really makes a difference, because I do not work as the agents do, like through the agency model or something like that, because my approach to take this business had always been student centric. Otherwise, in the consultancy, most of the time the hanky-panky things comes up. So students and their parents, they are always very much scared about this thought that they do not want any kind of fraudulent things to be happen to them. So I took it as a challenge. I took it as a challenge because I just wanted to create my niche into a very much genuine consultancy or the counseling services, so that the student will understand that yes, the education counseling should be from the education in the true sense. Then it should really make the difference and transformation not only to that student's life, but even that family life also. And within all these years, thousands of the students, they have availed our services. And I'm really very much happy to see their journey, and when they are working and nicely settled either in India or abroad, I feel very good and happy that and satisfied that yes, I could do something good and different than the other consultancies.
Right. Being a teacher, it's a very proud moment when you see your students do something good or something very nice, right?
Of course. Yes, it was all the escalation destined for me. I never thought of it when I started as the IELTS Resource Center. I never thought of it that I'll be just and that long that I'll be just marking myself for this 15 years of journey into this domain. And we have sent the students for all the destination, being Canada, UK, USA, Australia, New Zealand. My forte is Canada and UK and European destination, but still many of my students, we have supported them to Australia also, New Zealand. I have sent few students, Dubai, Singapore, US. So I'm happy with that what I had been doing. I kept experimenting with the courses and the programs, and my motto is to just cut down the cost of the students, so that at least their parents, parents, they should feel relieved. They should not have the hefty loan things over there. for sending their students abroad. So I just want to come up with scholarship opportunities, the cost cutting. So I
Great.
call it as the affordable education solution.
Very
For
nice.
my company, that I support the students, the budget friendliness, this thing.
Right. You were already working when you started this business, right?
Yes, of course.
So
That's what.
So you left your job and started this business, or you started both
I
of them?
did both the things.
Okay.
I was parallelly doing my job also, as well as started. So morning 8 till night 10:30 I had been working on and off for all. And at that time, even my children were also very small. My younger son was 2 years old and my elder one is 5 years. So it was something like, yes, I could keep on and off the working, means thrice or 4 times in a day. I used to go and just check whether things are happening good at home, because my office was close to home, and then I was going to take my lectures in the university also. I think there were a lot of activities the whole day which kept me, and since childhood only I would stay awake late night, read and do a lot of practice preparation for my venture. So that was, I used to just search out the connections. Many of the networking platforms were there where I used to go and meet the other fellow entrepreneurs. It used to motivate me that everyone was putting their lot of energy into their business. That drove me towards holding my and taking this ahead.
So are you still doing your job, or you are full-time working in your business now?
No, after 2013, I left my job from the university. Okay. Then I got centrally completely focused into my venture, because I thought like that, yes, all my 6 years of working was coloring by that time, started flourishing, and I thought that I should, at this point of time, if I want to do big, I should leave going to the university. I should be completely sit with my students and understand, because it's a very serious business, because we have to always support students and understand their financial things also, or whatever financial metrics they have from their family, whether it is applicable for that embassy or not. So this was something that I always felt that I have to stand by each and every cases, each and every student. Otherwise, if I just oscillate myself between university, working, and then business, then the students would be the sufferer. So I never wanted that. I never wanted that. The centralized and concentrated approach I had to keep, and I left my college. So
when you started your venture, what were the initial struggles or difficulties that you faced? And how did you overcome them?
Okay. So initially, like, when there were so many, being a female entrepreneur, you have so many, you have a family front also, and then you have this budget problem also. Because I never took loan for this thing, and I never took support from my family also, because I never wanted, I had a very small family, my mother-in-law, my husband, and my kids. So I never wanted that my venture should create any kind of financial burden over
the family.
Yes. So I like initially, this is something very different that I didn't tell many of my relatives also that I have started my venture, because I never wanted that somebody would be demoralizing me, that how you are going to do that, and this will not be viable for you with the kids and all those things. So I just I was hiding this from
keep the negativity away,
people. So after 3 or 4 years only, slowly they came to know about this, that I have started my own venture, and that's the reason I keep shuttling between home and that.
So just keep the negativity away for
this
some
was
time.
The thing that of course, why to take, because I had already decided my things that I have to do it anyhow. So even if sooner or later they'll get to know.
So the COVID must have impacted your kind of business, right? The consultancy and going abroad, because a lot of countries, they closed their doors, nothing was happening. So
their borders,
they sealed their borders, nothing, no movement was happening. So how did you deal with it? That time must have been difficult, right?
Of course, actually, there was chaos at that time initially for 6-7 months, but then I just thought that, but when the students they got to know about this news, they were really means it was a pathetic situation. But yes, it was just those initial 6 months. But then on, the students, you can see in 2021 only student visa was on, none of the other visas were this thing. So number of students, all the travel agencies, aviation industry, they were depending on only education consultant, because only our students were going abroad. But prior to that, the students, they were just checking the base of the Indian education system, that the universities were not equipped with that blended mode of learning platform. So they just started by that year. So students felt very nervous that studying in India could create some kind of problem for them, because the universities were not equipped with the high-tech medium. And the abroad in universities, foreign education, you will always find these foreign universities were always teaching the students through the blended mode. Many of the university, they always had this platform for the student to, if yes, they can study online also. So it was very much for universities, it was very much easy to attract the students towards them. So when the students found that lakhs of money they are investing in India and they are not getting any proper learning platform, they started thinking to go. So within just 6-7 months of span, only students start. There had been some pains in terms of the embassies remained closed, the visa outcome were coming early, and without COVID vaccination, the students were not able to fly. And certain such kind of problems and troubles were there. But every problem has its solution. So all the embassies, they gave the solution to the students, and they could really move. And now this currently 2021, 2022, students and their parents, they are so much into this thing that they have to, from every family you can find the students are going abroad. Right. So we actually, it was blessing in disguise for us, because we have systematized our things also very finely. Few of our candidates, they are working from home, they're still working from home. Students have adopted this platform of Zoom sessions and also that even we could take a tutorial also, not only from our city, but the people from the other part of the country also, they were joining us for their admission tutorial, visa guidance, all these things. So we were so much happy that COVID has taught us many new things and have changed the way we had been working and doing our business earlier.
Correct. So as per the changing situation, we adapted, and then we,
we adapted to new things.
Right. Let me rephrase it. So I was saying that since your work is like case-to-case basis, right? This case might have some other issues to deal with. The other case might have some other problem to deal with. So do you ever feel stressed that, it's too much work, how to deal with it, and how do you actually deal with this kind of stress?
Actually, it has become, over the period of all these years, it has become our habit. Initially, when I started my business, I thought like there could be so many things, but still, slowly, it came to me in the gradual process and very obvious process. So I never felt fatigued even. I had always an urge for knowledge acquisition. So I kept reading, I kept learning and upgrading myself, upgrading my knowledge. So I never felt, to be very much honest, I never felt drained out or I should like surrender between all these things. Why? Because every new country had attracted me to just understand that country, their education system. Is there something good for my students so that my counseling would be sharpened up? So I never feel that kind of stress, because this is what I always like, to interact with the student, understanding their needs, objectives, and giving them solutions. So I was always liking these things. When you like some profession, you never feel drained out. You actually enjoy it.
Right. That's a very good point, Diksha ji, that you have made. That first you need to enjoy your work, because then you'll never feel stressed. And the other thing is we need to,
of course,
if we keep learning and upgrading ourselves, that's good for both us and the business, right?
And that keeps you very much engaged with your business also, and the other activities. So the negativity never come over my head, because when you are running the business, small technical things and anything can really create trouble to you. But it never, why? Because I'm completely engrossed into this thing that yes. And I always thought that I just make some short-term goals, I make long-term goals. So when I and I was always very much focused towards my short-term goals, that another 6 months I have to do it. Another 6 months, that's how step by step you keep moving ahead. If you keep thinking after what I'm going to do after 5 years from now, then you cannot steer very much. Because in business, when you are venturing, particularly the small and medium enterprises, I should say, they should always be more focused towards their short-term goals rather than their long-term goals.
What do you think are the biggest challenges for a small or a medium scale business, and what would be your magic mantra for the fellow entrepreneurs who are still starting their journey?
So actually, I would always say that there are so many things, like even for management, right from the management, human resource, the budgeting, or like lead generation. So all sort of things always keeps you very much busy also. And there are so many such things, means you are into so much jigsaw puzzle, I should say, that the entrepreneurship always keeps you into one, or the one problem ends, the other starts. And how to run and move ahead with that is only the art that I could learn over the period of time. I was not very much prepared for all these, because I did my MPhil English. I never did MBA, but now I can teach to many of the MBA aspirants.
Right.
Because within all these years, we could understand your intuitions, your instincts, you learn a lot through them. And I could do that only. I didn't keep this. I just made it very much simple that I have to enjoy my work. I have to keep moving ahead. There are a lot of problems, and we just pull through that. So in this way only, because if I get just 20-25 minutes of time to have my enjoyment done over one thing, I would definitely like to grab that, because I cannot plan for 2 hours or 2 days of this thing. There had been many times like that I was so much busy into many activities and very stressful activities, where I cannot think that I'll go for some outing or I'll go for something. So within the office, if I'll get the opportunity to celebrate anyone's birthday for 30 minutes, we do it. So that will give you the good energy to just again
just revives you, right?
Soil Cup audience, I would just like to say that if you are planning to start your venture, you just, without keeping much thought of pros and cons or how you're going to do it, you just start doing it. Till when you are going to do this, what after 5 years, what after 10 years, I think you should not start. You should just start it with all your might and work on your idea, and you just move ahead with that without keeping much of the things that what society will say, whether my family would suffer or whether this thing. Although you have to take the calculated risk, it is not that the blindfoldedly you have moved ahead. You have to just keep everything and budget yourself. Sometimes I have seen that the entrepreneurs, they just showcase their things a lot with bombastic things, bombastic words, or like I would say that the stylish offices or something. So I would say just keep it simple and just allow your budget to support you. No, you should not over budget yourself.
Exactly.
So this is the only thing that, and I would call it as the calculative approach, that only the budget is the only main problem for the person who want to start their things. And then the resources, they understand how to just some of it, lot of resources, but it should always be your plan. Should always be budget friendly initially. I would always like to message this thing, because I could do in that way.
Right, because when the business grows, everything will eventually fall in place, right? You will be able to spend on the interiors and exteriors, buy a bigger place.
Unpredictable thing comes up.
Exactly.
Unpredictable expenses, you don't know. Even the signboard could also create some Your office boy can also create some another extra expenses for you, or some machinery go this thing down, and you have to correct all the technical things. So you never know that how the expenses would come in.
Yes.
So if it will be gushing in, it would be difficult to manage with all. So yes, take calculative risk, but take risk.
But take risk. Yes.
Take risk is the thing that is.
Yes. Don't be afraid. Take risk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't take risk.
Yes.
Taking risk is only the core essence of entrepreneurship.
Right. Very true. Thank you so much, Diksha ji, for joining us today and for sharing such wise words with us. I can't really thank you enough for sparing us so much of time. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.